On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome inside episode 390 of the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm Ross Levitan out on the East Coast in Halifax, Nova Scotia, alongside Brandon Piller up in Collingwood. Today's episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Visit rockauto.com and tell them Locked On sent you. Well, we're a week away from the entire Ottawa Senators starting training camp, but that doesn't mean the rookies won't continue their head start. Development camp is in the past, but as of today, Troy Mann and the Belleville Sens staff will take those same players through the paces, getting ready for 2 games against the Montreal Canadiens this upcoming Saturday and Monday. So on today's show, Pillsy and I are going to give 3 players that we're going to be locked on to during those 2 games. Then we'll get back to our organizational value rankings. We're into the 20s. We have 2 defensemen with high hopes and, well, a centerman who still isn't signed. We also have a Ray Emery card giveaway and more. This is the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day. Today is Wednesday, September 15th, and Pillsy, we've been saying it, and now it's official. See you at the home opener.
Man, I am so fired up when we were able to secure those tickets. And yeah, we're going to the home opener. We said it in our article with Daniel Rainbird. We said we're going to be probably at the first preseason game all the way out in Winnipeg. We're going there. We're getting there. And then we're coming all the way back to Ottawa for the home opener, the season opener up against the Maple Leafs, the Battle of Ontario. And we all know how that usually ends up, at least for game 1. Usually the Sens have a tough time holding it together, but they always end up with that W.
Yeah, you go back to 2016 against Austin Matthews. Yeah, give the kid 4 goals. We'll take the 2 points. Call it a day. Shout out Kyle Turris with a great OT winner in that game. 29 days, Pillsy. 29 days until we're at the CTC. 11 days until we're in Winnipeg. But going back to the home opener, it seems like just from being on social media, Sens fans are fired up. Like the pre-sale was yesterday. Today, tickets are on sale to the general public. So go and get your tickets. Support the team. Let's ignite this thing so that the rebuild can achieve unparalleled success. But as of right now, all of the Twitter accounts, everyone's posting they got their tickets. Do you think that this opening game could be the best ratio of Sens to Leafs fans in Ottawa?
It's got to be. Like, it just seems, just from Sens Twitter, I mean, obviously a biased survey. We have a lot of Sens Twitter following us, and we follow them, so we see a lot of the Sens fans going. But I think this could finally be a time. Like, Sens fans have waited a long time to be able to see their team play in live action. There's been no playoffs, nothing like that. So they're ready, and I think it goes to show just the excitement and the support on Twitter of everyone buying their tickets early. Like, I'm not even sure how many tickets are still left, and they're supposed to go on sale. They just started an hour ago. So there's not going to be a whole lot of opportunities for Leafs fans to scoop those tickets up. And there's so many Sens Central citizens that we saw say they're going to go. We're all going to meet up, hopefully. And I think we could be seeing a lot more red and black than you will be seeing blue in the stands this time.
I'm just pulling up tickets. It looks like there's a few available, but not a whole lot. Already some sections completely sold out, and we're talking about a month away. So go get your tickets. Let's paint that building red and black, because I know lots of people are out there having the 2D jerseys. I know I'm going to be rocking mine. The black, the red, it looks so sharp, but we haven't been able to wear it to a game. So get fired up. That's coming up right around the corner. We got Laleem's Martian sitting with us. So if you want to go behind the Twitter account, that anonymous, I'm so bad at that. What's the word?
Anonymity?
Anonymity.
That's probably not right either. Yeah.
The anonymous Laleem's Marsh. If you want to take a look behind the Twitter account, you can come find us. We'll be tweeting out where we're at. We got to get together, before the game.
I mean, we already tweeted out our seats. You can tell where we're sitting right now. So come see us.
Don't you dare try to take our seats or we'll have to throw down, especially if you're Leafs fans. But no, all kidding aside, it's going to be amazing. The pilgrimage, walking into the CTC beforehand, beers in hand. You know how it goes. We're looking forward to that. But before that, the kids got to decide which one of them are going to push for a spot on that opening night lineup. And Troy Mann, the Belleville Sens staff, are taking over development camp, which is now rolling into rookie camp. And usually the difference is dev camp, all the NCAA guys should be allowed to attend. This year it's different, but typically that's where you get to see all your European kids as well. Those guys don't typically attend rookie camp. But for this year, it's going to be the exact same roster. Although we did see Shane Pinto and Jacob Bernard-Docker, the two guys with NHL experience, held out of the dev camp 3-on-3 that we spoke about in yesterday's episode. But out of everyone else who was a part of both dev and rookie camp, who are the three guys going into the two games against Montreal you're most, I'm going to say, excited, but also curious? Guys who maybe you really don't know what to expect or haven't seen a lot of that you're really looking forward to.
Yeah, well, having said that, two of my three guys are from this year's draft, so we haven't gotten to see much of them already. And I'll start off with my top guy, though, Ridley Greig. Like, this guy is essentially, he's speaking into existence that there should be an exemption rule for players, certain guys who are too good to go back to the WHL, but not quite ready to play in the NHL. They should be allowed to play in the NHL. Ridley Greig is the perfect example of that. He's going to absolutely dominate in Brandon with the Wheat Kings this year in the WHL. It's going to be easy competition for him. But apart from getting a 9-game show me what you got little stretch from the Sens, I don't think he's quite ready for the NHL. But we saw how good he was in the AHL, and Troy Mann can tell you himself that the few games that Ridley Greig did play there, especially at the start of the season, he was one of the most relied upon guys, even though he was a rookie in the American Hockey League. So he's someone that I want to see if he can really impress enough to force the Ottawa Senators management to be like, you know what, we got to give you 9 games at least to see what you can do at the highest competition level.
Yeah, Ridley Greig, to me, we spoke about this last week. I would put him in, as long as the camp is impressive, why not give him a couple games, a taste of NHL action? We know that he's working on getting his physique a little bit bigger. I think he's clocking it 165-ish pounds. So I don't know how much that is going to affect the way he plays. We know he's an abrasive player when he's out on the ice, loves to stir it up. My favorite highlight, we've tweeted this out. We asked him about it when he put the guy in the WHL stick into the 12th row last year. The guy was just in the slot hanging out, and next thing you know, up and away goes the stick. Just the way Ridley Greig loves to play. So I'm also excited to see Ridley. We have 3 different lists. So do you want to go through your 3, or should we go back and forth? Because
no, you hit your most notable guy here. I think everybody's going to like this one.
Yeah, well, we'll first put the asterisks that we left out JBD and Pinto. Those guys are NHL players. AHL, maybe you'll see more of JBD down there, but at this level, they should dominate. And we've seen a bit more of them to know that that's likely the case. So I've left them out. And my number 1, how can it not be? Egor Sokolov. This guy is just all time. And just from hearing Wayne Scanlon and Ian Mendez and Pierre Dorion from Wayne's article saying that this guy was the best player on the ice for all of development camp, how can you not be excited to see him against competition that he's going to be running through guys on the forecheck? He's going to be doing things like, obviously the shot is lethal. That's what makes him an exceptional prospect, is he can just put the puck in the net. Pretty important part of hockey, right? But also, I think there's going to be an extra level of intensity, that shark-type behavior that earned him the nickname on the forecheck. And that's what I'm most excited to watch for Egor, is his skating, yes, but that helps on the forecheck, right? If you're able to burn past your checker in the middle and bang, you can so create loose pucks. And we asked last episode to comment, who would you like to see Egor start the season with if he can make the NHL? Man, Stützle and Pinto was one of the answers that came up. Like, you get the playmaker, you get Pinto, who's reliable at both ends of the ice, and then You have your sniper, but he would also be F1 on the forecheck on that line. So I know I keep going back to it, but I want to see how he can hound pucks in the offensive zone and get into the dirty areas. And if Egor can do that and his skating is as improved as everyone says it is, how can you not be fired up to see this kid on the ice?
Yeah, exactly. And I think for Egor too, like he's a guy, he's going to be a leader out there. Like it sounded, the minimal info we got on the scrimmages, it sounded like he was like a real kind of energizer bunny out there. And he was the guy that was pumping guys up, and they were only supposed to go to 3 goals. And he was like, what? I thought we were playing till 5 goals. Like I got a hat trick I'm working on here. Like, let's not cut this off right now. You know what I mean? Like he seems like he's going to be a guy that kind of leads everyone and brings everyone into the battle. So he's definitely someone that we're all going to be watching. I gave you a nice, easy one there. Now, for my second guy, I was going to go with Roby Jarventie, but since he's one of the players we're going to be talking about in today's episode, didn't want to repeat stuff, but Jarventie definitely is a guy who I think this will be a very interesting couple rookie games for him to play, because he's one of the more upper echelon talented guys in this group here. So having said that, I'll move on to my next guy. And like I said, 2 of them are from this draft alone. I'm going to go with Carson Latimer. I think this is someone who Sens fans were really excited when they drafted him. The Ottawa Senators, they wanted him. They traded 2 picks to trade up to get him. He was one of the guys who had to bounce around a little, playing in different leagues. But I think with his WHL season, 22 games, he had 16 points. So not too bad for a weird up and down season there. I think he's going to have a chance to show Ottawa Senators fans that he was part of the skill group that the Sens were looking for in that draft. He wasn't just all size. And if he can put a couple goals in, maybe get a couple good assists, he's going to show people that he was a good pick. And I think, is he with the Oil Kings? I think so. He's going to have a big season here. Hopefully the WHL has a full, clean season, and he can really get into stride, because he's someone I was really excited about. And it seemed like other internet scouts and reporters were telling us when we talked to them about draft day that he was a guy they really liked, that draft pick and where he was selected for the Sens. So Carson Latimer is a guy I'm going to be watching.
The guy who was just named most improved player in his conference, in division rather, in the WHL last year. And his most notable attribute is he can fly up and down the ice. So you're going to notice him out there, a la Alex Formenton or Cole Reinhardt, guys who can just move. And that's an important part. When you have all these big guys in the Sens clearly draft for size and tenacity, you're going to need some speed demons out there to get those loose pucks. So yeah, Latimer's a great choice there at number 2. Before I get to my second pick, let's tell you a quick word about our friends at Rock Auto. Rock Auto is a family business. They've been serving auto parts to customers online for 20 years. It's rockauto.com. They have everything there. Engine control modules, brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil. You can even get your new carpet. And whether it's for your classic or daily drive, get everything you need in a few easy clicks delivered directly to your door. The rockauto.com catalog is unique and remarkably easy to navigate. Quickly see all the parts available for your vehicle and choose the brands, specifications, and even the prices you prefer. Now let's hit on those prices a little bit longer, because at rockauto.com, they're always reliably low and the same whether you're a professional or just a do-it-yourselfer. The question remains, why do you spend up to twice as much for the same parts? That's asinine. Just go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. All we ask is that you put Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box. That way, they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Visit rockauto.com.
Yeah, Ross, maybe I'll make a trip to rockauto.com and soup your car up for my ride to Winnipeg. You're going to see a brand new Honda Civic rolling in when I spend some time on Rock Auto with those great prices. I can pretty much upgrade everything I need. You got to love that. And hey, talking about upgrades and making things look even better, you got to check out DirecTV Stream. You don't want your coffee table filled, lined with remote controls. You don't want to have a pencil and pad written somewhere, safe kept in your house with all your logins, all your subscriptions, all your passwords. No, get rid of all that garbage and check out DirecTV Stream. I want to tell you the simplest way to get all the entertainment you love without the hassle. A great way to finally get all your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, your favorite movies, and your favorite TV shows all conveniently in one place. That means No more juggling the remotes. No need to buy another device again. And hey, an added bonus, there's no annual contract, so you can decide whether to keep going or to stop at any time. So get rid of the clutter, get rid of the confusion, and get your TV together, guys. This is an important time to make sure your TV is together, let's be honest. With Direct Stream, you can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Compatible device required. Contents vary by package. Check it out today. It's DirecTV Stream at directtv.com.
All right, Pilsy. So to recap, your first two guys you're watching at Sens rookie camp, you've got Ridley Greig, you've got Carson Latimer, and I'm going right back to Sens Central's guest list. We've already got Egor Sokolov, and my second guy, it's Angus Crookshank. Of course it is. The little buzzsaw out there, and we know he had 16 points in 19 games starting his pro career on an amateur tryout. What a good guy, eh? He's like, yeah, I'll turn pro, but start my contract next year. I just want to get my feet wet, understand what it takes to play at this high level. And he's only 5'10", I'd say probably on a good day. So for him, it's a matter of how can I compete with these bigger, stronger players. He's been doing it all week, going up against Ben Roger, Chandler Romeo, all these big, burly defensemen that the Sens have in their system. But now, let's see how we can go up against, I don't know, Alex Romanov might be there for Montreal. They've got some good D in their system as well. So I want to see him be that pain in the rear end that we know Crooker can be. And that's what's made him successful at every level, is his tenacity on the puck. If you've listened to Jesse Winchester or Sean Donovan, guys from the Sens development team this week, when they talk to Crooker, they're telling him, we want you to play like Brendan Gallagher. So ironically, they're playing against the Habs this upcoming weekend because it's an undersized guy, both from Vancouver, by the way, as I talk, I'm remembering that. So when you look at what Gallagher's been able to do, he gets under guys' skin, yes, but he's also so good with the puck around the net. So I want to see a little touch from Crookshank. We know he can skate. We know he can lay the body, and he will be a hard forechecker on this team. But I want to see some skill plays from this kid. I want to see him, get the puck down low and maybe a jam play or two right at the side of the net. And whether it goes in or not, I want him poking at that puck until the whistle goes, maybe even a little bit longer. But hey, I just love the way this kid plays. And let's see him with a full training camp under his belt now. And I think a little more confidence after his stint in Belleville. So I'm fired up for Angus Crookshank as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for Angus Crookshank not to be confident. I mean, with the season he had in Belleville last year, coming off a great interview on the Locked On Senators podcast, like
some say a top 3 interview we've ever done.
Exactly. So you get that Sens Central bump to boost you into Dev Camp and rookie camp here. But with Angus Crookshank, Ross, my expectations are that he's going to evolve even further as a playmaker. Like, I'm not so sure he's going to score too many goals, but we heard Sokolov talk about it, right? Like, this is a guy who he can find you, especially if you put Crookshank on a line with Sokolov. You better believe that he's going to be looking for Egor, the shark in the water, all damn day long, because that's a way to boost his stats. And that's a way for him, as you said, kind of a smaller player to really define what his role is and what he's able to do that other maybe bigger, stronger guys aren't able to do. So I'm going to be looking for Crookshank to keep his playmaking ability up. Keep looking for those guys that can wire it past goalies like Sokolov. Jarventie would be another great person to have with Crookshank. And I think definitely he's a guy that he's going to have a good top 6 role, and we're going to see some good things out of him, especially in these rookie camps when he's going up against kind of lesser competition levels.
Yep. All right. Well, those are my first 2. So who's your third player to watch for at Sens rookie camp?
Well, you mentioned him in your little spiel here. A big, burly defenseman, and it's Ben Roger. I mean, this guy is an absolute beast. I'm looking at his size right now, 6'4", 201 pounds at only 18 years old. He's probably going to even grow some more, which is crazy to think of. A reason why I've got him highlighted so high is we didn't get to see him last year in the OHL, and the Senators, I would say, reached on a guy in Ben Roger when there were other players available. I'm not sure I'll ever forgive them for passing up on Atu Ratti with both of these second-round picks, but I'm hoping to watch Ben Roger and have my mind at least at ease, knowing that they got a big defenseman who's going to be able to skate well for his size and that has a long runway ahead of him. Like, I'm not going to stamp, is this the right move after one rookie game against the Montreal Canadiens? But I think definitely he's someone that there's a lot of pedigree. We're going to see what he can do in a good London Knights system. That's a great place to develop players, so you got to love seeing that. And I just think someone who was drafted as high as him, and kind of with the expectation that we're going to see what you can do in a couple of years in the OHL, and hopefully you can gain more size. You can get comfortable in your body. Like Ross always mentioned, this is a guy that gained 35 pounds in a season. So he's going to have to get used to learning how to skate with that new frame. So let's see how he starts off here against these rookies. I can't wait to get some eyes on that big defenseman.
Yeah, it sounds like skating is his best attribute, or at least was 35 pounds ago. So we will see how that extra weight is going to help him be better in his own zone and those net front battles and moving guys out of the way. So Big Ben Rogers, absolutely a player to watch for. I'm going to throw a curveball at you, Pillsy. I'm not going with the guy I mentioned to you off air. We'll give him an honorable mention after. I'm going with a guy who should dominate, Lassi Thomson. This guy's already got a full season now in the AHL. He's got 3 pro seasons if you go back to him playing in Finland over the past 2 years as well. Let's see you go out there and assert yourself. I want to see the Tom bomb. I want to see a goal. Let's get a couple shots on goal at least. If it goes in, even better. But he didn't use his shot enough last year. And that we've talked about it ad nauseum on this show because it's such an important part of his game. And that's what allowed him to score, 18 goals in his draft year in Kelowna? Like, he was putting the puck in the net, and that's that offensive aspect of his game that needs to return. He's okay defensively. It's not like he's a liability out there, but I think that he does have that extra level to his offensive game that we haven't seen in Belleville, where he only had 1 goal in 30 games, give or take. But that 1 goal stands out to me because I want to see him up towards 9, 10, 11 or more this upcoming season. So this is a great opportunity in front of Ottawa's staff. Like, he's going to play in front of Troy Mann all the time. And I think he probably has a little ways to go to impress him even more. But now he's got more competition on the right side. JBD is a guy who might jump over him right away in the depth chart. And yeah, he's a year older as well. He was picked in the first round. The year before last, he was a first-round pick. But Thompson now has to say, okay, how am I going to beat out JBD for minutes? And is there a chance Gwinnett can pass him? He can't let that happen. And this is the place for Lassi to start. I want to see at least, I want him to at least catch my eye out there. I want to be impressed more than once by Lassi. So that's why I've got him as a player to watch. And for him, like the other two, I'm really excited about. For Lassi, I've got this nervous anticipation. But if he impresses me, man, he can shoot his stock way up.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is an opportunity for him to go up against lesser competition and really shine here. So, and Ross, your curveball is an interesting one because we're going to be talking about Lassi Thomson later on in the show. So I won't say too much about him here, but definitely he's going to be a guy to watch for sure.
Okay, now some honorable mentions. Who's one for you?
Well, I'm going to steal the guy you left off of your list as an honorable mention right off the top then. And we're going with Zach Ostapchuk. Like, this is another guy who the Sens decided was a better draft pick than Atu Ratti. So it's another guy I want to see prove himself and show me that they made the right pick here. But again, I'm not gonna stamp winner or loser right away after a couple rookie games. But Ostapchuk was another player that a lot of guys, internet scouts, were saying, maybe a bit of a reach here picking him that early in the second round, but there's a lot of talent to be had there. He's the kind of guy who I would say kind of plays like a Josh Anderson style game. Like, he's going to carry the puck into that offensive zone almost every time and try to drive wide and force his way back to the middle of the ice and make a play. And you know what? You don't always score on that initial play, but you can usually bank in a rebound. Or, I mean, look at... it was the OT winner that Josh Anderson scored. That's how he started that play.
Yeah.
Drove to the net hard, just tried to get the puck on net. Yeah, to win that game in overtime.
And we don't have to specify because it was the only game.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a good way to start a play, create some chaos, and then if you get guys like Brady Tkachuk in front of the net banging rebounds, there's a great offensive chance in a high danger scoring opportunity. So I think Ostapchuk, he's going to have a great year with the Vancouver Giants this season. He's going to be one of their main point contributors, and I think Sens fans are going to like him, and I think he can show that he has a lot of skill here in this rookie camp and the rookie games.
All right, I just wrote down a few more guys that we're looking at, and Cole Reinhardt was the last name I put down, but he impressed me last year in Belleville. So let's see if he can use that experience to bring him to the next level. Max Gwinnett, he's turning pro after a very solid career in the queue. And for a 7th round pick, it's just fun to see guys who are able to take that next step. And like for him, his stock's got to be sky high, according to other 7th round picks from only 2 years ago. So I'm excited to watch Max Gwinnett. And then how could we go as a goalie friendly show without mentioning the Tendies? Of course, we're fired up to see Levi Marilainen, who took the ads off his pads. You see that, Pilsy? The ads are gone.
No free ads, Ross. No free ads.
I'm surprised one doesn't say Bell and the other one Golden Palace or something. So the Sens could make a few extra bucks on that. And then, man, the Great Dane. Like, you got to be fired up. Shout out to Saeed Kuda coming up with that nickname. That's an all-time for the Great Dane. So Mad Sogard, we're going to be fired up to see him too. We're also fired up to get back to our organizational value rankings. Pilsy, before we get to that, we've got a word from 2 of our favorite sponsors. I'll kick it off with our friends at Bet Online. And coming up, we've got Pilsy's Parlay of the Day. It's back, making its triumphant return. It's Pilsy's Parlay of the Day. And you go to betonline.ag if you want to ride or fade with Pilsy's picks, because betonline.ag is the #1 home for the Locked On Podcast Network, and they've got a great bonus for you, 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. And here's how you go about getting it. When you make your first deposit at betonline.ag, use promo code Locked On. That's promo code Locked On. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you can see it right there. Promo code Locked On gets you a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. All right, Pilsy, what's your parlay today?
Well, I would like to say off the top, and you can believe me or not believe me, that's up to you, but I did hit a 3-team parlay in week 1 for NFL, so I'm feeling pretty good. That's why I decided to bring Pilsy's parlay back on a hot streak, even though the NHL is not here yet. This is like preseason parlay time for me, so I got to get warmed up here. So let's keep the good times rolling. I'm looking at, this is week 2, so we got a little taste of what teams can do in week 1. I'm a Bengals fan. I loved that they were able to win their first game, even though they kind of fumbled down the stretch and did not end up finishing strong. They barely squeezed it out, but they're going up against the Chicago Bears here. I think they can beat the Bears. I'm taking their money line at plus 123. Then heading into the next game, Rams, Colts. The Rams are looking real good so far. I'm taking their point spread -4 at -108. And then finally, for the third pick, Arizona Cardinals. We just talked about the Vikings. The Bengals were able to beat the Vikings, so I think the Cardinals can do it. I'm taking their money line at -195. So let's get Bengals money line, Rams at -4, and Cardinals money line. Put $10 in. You're going to win $54.97, guys. That is Pilsy's parlay of the day, and we are back.
Oh, things you love to hear. So betonline.ag. Don't sit on the sidelines. Get into the action and use our promo code Locked On to receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. It's BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts.
And Ross, when I'm nervously waiting to see if that parlay hits, I would like to get 2 weeks in a row. That'd be a great start. I'm going to be munching on some Built Bars to keep me fueled. Like, I want to be fueled from the 1 o'clock games all the way to the night games. I mean, hell, let's push it even farther. I want to be fueled on Built Bars all the way to the Monday night games. And let's be honest, they have enough different flavors that you could do that without getting bored of flavors. Every time we're talking, I feel like they're pumping out a new product here, and I have yet another new Built Bar flavor for you guys to try. But first, if you're new to Built Bar, we've had a couple people on Twitter try new Built Bars and they love them. It's because of that nice texture. They're soft, they're easy to chew. All the bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. That's a guarantee. And it's low calorie, low sugar, but high fiber and high protein. Now let's get to this new flavor I was talking about. If you haven't tried Built Bar Puffs yet, if you love marshmallows, you're going to love this new line of Built Bar Puffs. And you're going to love this new flavor. Ross, this is one of your favorite flavors, mint marshmallow. So that's a combo that we don't often see, but mint and chocolate always go well together. And I mean, who doesn't like marshmallows? So your Built Puff mint marshmallow flavor, I almost forgot the marshmallow in there, is something you definitely got to try. And to sweeten the deal a little bit, guys, go to BuiltBar.com or just Built.com. They're shortening things, making it easier for you to get their product. And as loyal listeners of the Locked On Senators podcast, we're hooking you up with a promo code. If you're watching on YouTube, Check it out. Oh, other way. There we go. Locked 15 for 15% off your next order. Guys, head to built.com today. Use our promo code LOCK15 for 15% off your next order. It's Built Bar, the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar.
All right, Pilsy, I'm having way too much fun with these graphics that we're going to be playing with. So make sure you check us out on YouTube. And as we said, once we started the channel at the beginning of August, we were going to get the ball rolling and then hit heavy once the season starts. And I think I can tease the interview. We've been working on it for a long time, and it's all but confirmed on the time. Next week, Tyler Boucher will be on Locked On Senators, the Sens' 10th overall pick. So get excited for Tyler Boucher. We also have an unnamed Ottawa Senators player who will join us next week as well. And reminder, we're back to 5 shows a week starting on Monday, where the Sens will have their second game against the Montreal Canadiens. Okay, before we get to our organizational value rankings, we've got a giveaway here because we got to 500 subscribers on YouTube. The goal is to get to 1,000 by the start of the season. I say we do it. I think we can do it, Pilsy. So we got to, grind into the corners. It's training camp for us to get into the best shape of our lives. But we did say I would be giving away a Ray Emery card. I hope it's signed, Trevor. But it's Trevor McNeil. He's going to be the winner. He's been commenting on the post for the last 2 weeks, saying, give me that card. And he's a good Cape Breton boy. And Cape Breton has supplied the Ottawa Senators with Drake Batherson, with Lassi,
Egor Sokolov.
With Egor Sokolov. And hey, shout out Gerard Shaw, too. An absolute beauty.
Logan Shaw, too.
Yeah, the captain of the Belleville Sens. So, the Eagles are a great pipeline for the Sens, and it's great to see that the Sens fans do stretch out to the East Coast, where I am right now. So a little added connection. So Trevor McNeil, we're going to get in touch with you, and we're also going to answer your question on an upcoming show. Great question, Trevor, posed to us on Instagram. You can follow us there, lockedon.senators. He said, which Senators player that went on to win the Stanley Cup after playing in Ottawa were you most happy for? So just something to think about for now as we get back to our organizational value rankings. Pilsy, number 25, it's Red Light Roby Jarventie.
Yeah, Roby Jarventie, and there's a reason I'm so excited about this guy. I just went and watched the YouTube highlights of all his goals in Liga last year.
On the stick, off the stick, eh?
Yeah, almost he had 14 goals, I think, and probably 11 of them were quick bang plays, releases. And the best is there would be so many times where it's not quite a 2-on-1, but basically 2 guys in the same spot. And that Eels player, he's not taking that shot. He's turning his body and getting ready for a pass. It was obvious. There was no sense hiding it. And then Roby Jarventie was just ripping it past tendies. But don't take away from his hands, too. He doesn't use his hands a lot. Because why would you when you have a release like that, right? Why make an extra move when you can just beat a goalie in half a second without wasting any time and you get a sure goal? So when he does use his hands, so I saw him deacon through defenders to get to a nice high danger scoring opportunity. And even on a breakaway, he totally deked out a goalie who bit fully on shot. He thought Roby Jarventie was going to shoot this. Nah, deke, fake, score, Selly. The Roby Jarventie story. And I think he's at a point now where he can really take over, and he's much more skilled, has much more experience in pro leagues too than a lot of these other rookies. So I really think we could see with Roby Jarventie the kind of path that Vitaly Abramov had. I would say they're similar players, and they should have similar point production. So look at Vitaly Abramov's numbers when he first started in the AHL with the Cleveland Monsters, and I think we can project Roby Jarventie to be somewhere around that mark. Oh, you're muted. There you go.
Does it surprise you, Pilsy, that Roby Jarventie's 6'3", 200 pounds? That's a big kid. And I think that he looks slender. Even though he's got the weight, he just still looks slender. So I think this guy could end up playing at 210, 215. And imagine having him and Egor on either wing on a line. You got 2 shooters, or you split them up either way. But these guys can skate, man. And with Jarventie, it's too easy to mention it, but consistency needs to improve. And that's what it's like for a lot of goal scorers, even the guys who score 30 in the NHL. Just ask Mike Hoffman. There were stretches where you're like, what the hell is he doing out there? And then other stretches where you're like, this guy's the best player in the world. So, game 6, liable to go Hoffman. Michael, take your pick. Jackson, Tyson, Hoffman, game 6. That was unbelievable. But hey, I do see some similarities with Jarventie and Hoffman, two guys who can skate really well, can shoot the puck better than most. I think that Jarventie's already got a pro level shot, but how are you going to string together when you've got 4 games in 7 nights? How are you going to be the same player on night 1 that you are on night 2, 3, and 4 of that stretch? So for him, why not get a good start with back-to-back solid performances against Montreal? So I say that, sorry, I got into my head a bit because just like I mentioned with Cruikshank and Gallagher, can you guys believe Mike Hoffman is a Montreal Canadian? That's just so...
And Chris Weidman, too.
So weird. So weird. Weird. But Jarventie should start in Belleville. He had 2 goals in 4 games right down there. So, hey, nothing wrong with that. And I'm glad that he's on our list today because if he wasn't, you would have had to use one of your spots in guys you're excited about rookie camp because he's a player that I'm fired off to watch as well. So yeah, exactly like I did. But wait, no spoilers yet. We got to move to number 24. I don't think we're going to spend too much time on this guy because I don't think he's going to be in the organization for much longer. And it's you already know. Number 24 on our list. It's Logan Brown. Like, what's going on, man? Like, this guy's still not signed, still hasn't signed his qualifying offer. I guess he's demanded a trade through his agent, and he's gone through multiple agents since he's been picked 11th overall. This just seems like the saga continues for Logan Brown.
Yeah, when unfortunately the book should be closed on this. Like, we're
skill player though, when healthy.
Yeah, when healthy. And the interesting thing too, I was looking at his Belleville numbers, and we all remember at the start of the Belleville season, Pierre Dorion saying, "All right, we're going to give Logan Brown 3 to 5 games. We hope he racks up the points, then we're going to call him up. Don't worry, Sens fans, like he's
going to play with Stützle and Brown, right?"
Yeah, exactly. So, and that didn't go well for him. He got injured, but then when he came back, and also remember the Belleville Senators were hot garbage to start the season, so he was just a pile of that burning wreckage there. So you can't blame him too much there. But then you go to the latter half of the season, and he actually finished the season off, Ross. I kind of forgot about this, with a 5-game point streak where he had, let's see my math here, 7 points in 5 games. So he was consistent up until the end of the season, and I think that must have, in his mind, been like, all right, I boosted my numbers. I showed the Senators what I can do. I showed the league what I can do. This is going to help me get a trade. Apparently not, though, because I think first and foremost, he should just kind of accept whatever offer is on the table. Like, just get an NHL contract. Be a part of the club. Like, be in the NHL contract club. And then wherever you go from there, it doesn't really matter to you. Like, you just need some sort of opportunity. And the Senators, they need to do something with them before the value's gone here. Did we just get a breaking news signing? That's the same reaction you did with the Batherson news.
I'm putting my head in my hands because you can say, like they did last year, he's in the best shape of his life. Well, by all accounts, he's not happy.
That's a low bar, it seems like.
He hasn't had an opportunity, right? Yep. If he doesn't think he can beat out Shane Pinto and Chris Tierney for a spot in the top 6, there's a second line center spot waiting for a skill player to grab it. He's never going to have a better opportunity to make the NHL team than this year. Yeah. And if he doesn't, then he's put on waivers and any other team can claim him rather. So why is he not signing his qualifying offer? Does he think he's going to get a better one? Is he going to hold out and go to the KHL? Is he going to go play in Sweden? I don't know. But to me, it's just like, you just got to shake your head at the way this whole thing has been handled. The first pick that Pierre Dorion ever made as an Ottawa Senators GM traded up to get him 2 spots. 1 spot. He gave up a third-round pick to go up 1 spot. Now, when you see Michael McLeod, the guy who's taken after, maybe it kind of takes the sting off because he hasn't really established himself either. But you got to think with Logan Brown, like, either make it or move on. And I think that we should probably move on as well to a couple defensemen on our list. We don't have to spend long on this next guy because we did mention him. And guys, I just need to see Lassi Thomson play against other teams, and I want to see that offense. And he comes in at number 23 on our rankings. Pillsy, just to recap before. So Jarventie's down 7 spots from where we had him on this same list last year. Logan Brown is down 12 spots. And Lassi Thomson's only down 1, although you could argue that his season would have required a little more downturn, but we're still high enough on the 21-year-old.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, sure, he didn't have the season we were hoping he would have in Belleville, but there's lots of runway left. There's a bunch of guys ahead of him. He's basically just trying to prove that he can be consistent and have some offense in the North American game. I think it's going to be nice to get him as a second pair defenseman in Belleville if JBD is the first pair guy, because that loosens the responsibility a little bit. It just makes it easier for him not to have so much pressure on himself. And I think JBD can handle that workload a little bit better than Lassi can. And then just help Troy Mann, get him on the power play, get him confident with the Tom bomb again. And I think you're going to see a big uptick in his performance once he gets a little bit of confidence here. So I think the stage is set for Lassi to have a good season. You know, he had that dress rehearsal last year. I don't think anyone was expecting too much from him last year, but now I would say the expectations are real, and he needs to show that he can be a contributing part of this Belleville team offensively and not be a liability defensively.
Only 3 assists in the final 9 games. And again, that was the stretch that Belleville won 8 of their final 9 games. So they were winning in spite of Lassi's offensive production, not because of it. And I'd like that storyline to change a little bit going into next year. Let's see him really contribute to these wins. I feel like I've already spoken about Lassi and the things that I'm looking for him consistency-wise and offensively to improve on. So I want to go right to number 22 because he's one of my favorite guys in the organization. And I think I like him even more so, not because he's been a guest on Locked On Senators, although he did tell some fun stories, but because everyone hated the draft pick so much when he was picked, and he's up 11 spots after leading all NCHC freshmen in goals. And that includes Jake Sanderson, right? We're talking about number 22 on our organizational value rankings, the K-Train. Choo-choo! It's Tyler Kleven.
And not just any goals, Ross. Talk about a couple of highlight reel plays, especially his first one. Like, toe drag through a defender, bar down,
short
what is
side.
Up? Oh my God, what a play by the K-Train there. And yeah, I think Kleven is a guy we're excited about because we think he can have a lot of success in a certain role. Like, we're not sitting here being like, oh man, I can't wait to see Kleven keep climbing and eventually he's going to be a top pair defenseman. No, that's not the progression for this kind of player. If he can continue to play a physical game, be able to skate, where a lot of reporters and scouts said he wasn't going to be able to skate, be able to control the puck without making rash, quick decisions and just throwing it away, which he has been better of.
Stick handling.
And over stick handling. That's the thing too. Like, he needs to just simplify his game, understand he's trying to be a bottom pair NHL defenseman. And I think he can have a lot of success because he could be a shutdown physical defenseman that also teams aren't just going to dump the puck in his side of the zone every single time, because he can handle the puck and he can handle a big hit that you're going to try to throw at him in the corner.
Yeah, think of a bigger Mark Borowiecki, I think, because as we saw as Boro's career developed, the offense came. Remember, he led all defensemen in goals for Ottawa that year. That was unbelievable. A far cry from when he had 1 goal, and that 1 goal, he rung the puck behind his net, and it hit a stanchion. It went at the empty net at the other end. But hey, just like with Boro, other teams know when Kleven's on the ice, because if you don't, you might have to get scraped up off of it.
Yeah,
this guy lays thunderous hits. He hits, I don't want to say hits to injure, but he hits to leave a mark. He wants you to know when he's coming, and that's why the K-Train, based off of course, the great Anton Volchenkov, the nickname just fits so perfectly with him, and I'm so excited to see him at the World Juniors this year. He had a spot start duty last year. I think he got into 2 games, and he didn't look out of place in those 2 games, but it gave him so much confidence going back with that gold medal and all that great photo with him and Sanderson right after they were victorious in the gold medal game against Canada. But now everyone's penciling him in as a top 4 guy on Team USA. So that must be a good feeling for him and is only going to help motivate him to get even better.
Yeah, and not only World Juniors, Ross, I'm excited to see his elevated role at Nodak as well,
yeah, with
right?
Kierstad gone.
Yeah, there's a lot of good defensemen gone from that D-corps, and he's going to have a chance to step up here and really show that he can handle a decent chunk of minutes, and that as he's going to go up in competition levels, he can transition and not be kind of left in the dust here. So Tyler Kleven, we love him. We're excited to watch the K-Train in action, and I'm sure he's only gotten bigger and stronger. So the NCHC, like, if you're a small, speedy winger coming up the wings, look out for it. You better make sure you know where that train is, because it could be coming along, and if you find yourself in the train tracks, it's not going to be pretty for you.
Another guy where it's really disappointing because he's never been to Ottawa, right? No dev camp last year after the strange draft, then no dev camp or rookie camp for him this year. So it's really too bad from that standpoint. But 5 goals, and get this, plus 11 last year. Like, that's awesome to see. So hopefully he can build on that. What's one spot in his game would you like to see improvement? Sounds like he might even get some power play time with North Dakota.
Yeah, and we already touched on it a little bit. It's simplifying your game when you have the puck. Like, you're not going to be able to do what your buddy and your teammate Jake Sanderson can do. Just because you see him do that multiple times on a nightly basis, you can't be trying that, because that's just not your game. So when Tyler Kleven gets the puck, nothing wrong with chipping it off the glass and getting the change if you have to. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to be a hero, because that's not where you're going to stand out. You're going to stand out when you're separating players from the puck, when you're got good gap control and guys can't get into the O-zone like they want to. And just make a good first pass and let someone else try to make a highlight reel play. Like, I just think he needs to simplify his game with the puck so those glaring mistakes don't happen, and you can focus more on the positives that he brings to the game.
There's so many positives, though, and one of those is his size. Like, you think about all these big defensemen from this year, Romeo and Ben Roger that you mentioned. Tyler Kleven's 6'4", 215 right now, and I think of the bunch, he's the meanest, and that's an attribute you love to see. Now, I'm going to compare him to another former college defenseman the Sens had, albeit a right shot. Now, if he gets to this level, I don't know if it's going to be worth a second-round pick, although I do think he brings a little bit more to the table. But Eric Greig had a pretty decent career with the Sens, was a contributing player in the playoffs, a Boston University kid, and I think that they both have that mean genetic in them, and that's exciting for me to see as a guy who loves that style of game, especially like if the top 4, let's kind of put on our future hats and see projection-wise, and of course trades can happen too, but as of right now, you look 2-3 years down the road, and you have Brandstrom, Chabot, JBD, and Sanderson. You don't need another skilled defenseman. You need a guy who's going to be great on the penalty kill, mean, physical, and a guy who can contribute a little bit of offense. Now, all we've really seen from his offensive game this past year was just get the puck and wire it inside the blue line. Like, he had a couple of really nice plays off the rush. You mentioned his first goal, but he seems like just a guy who grips it and rips it. So this year, when he gets the puck at the blue line, I want to see him shake shimmy a little bit more. I want him to really make an impact at the blue line, the offensive blue line. And if he can do that, then we're talking about a guy who can do it all and who's 6'4". And I think that would put him in the next echelon. But even if he doesn't get there, if he just improves on what he did do well last year, that's still good enough for me as a very solid player.
Yeah. And I think that's funny, because that's kind of the opposite of what I was saying. Like, I want him just to be that simple guy. Just ring it in there if you have to, because if he doesn't have the hands like that. So if he tries to shake shimmy guys, then they're probably going to pick it off him, and they're probably a faster skater than him, and that's not going to look good. And Jake Sanderson's not going to be happy to mop up those mistakes consistently. So I think if he could do that, awesome. But I don't think that's in his toolbox, at least not now. But if he was able to work on that and be able to do that, that adds another big element to his game, and that'd be great.
We know he's been spending his offseason shooting pucks in Fargo because, as he said, quote, not much else to do down there. So, hey, an absolute beauty. They get their season underway October 2nd. So Nodak Sens back in action October 2nd. And we're going to spend as much time on this next thing before we go as much as Jake Sanderson did. He was just named to the NCHC all preseason team. He's on to bigger and better. He doesn't need any of that. But Pilsy, we're fired up. We're back. Again, we're going to try to record on Friday. If not, we'll get you something right after the first game on Saturday, and we'll go from there, because next week we're back 5 shows a week right here at Locked On Senators. So leave a comment. Let us know who you're most excited about to see at Rookie Tournament, and leave us a note on our YouTube channel. But for today, we say goodbye. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.